Good morning, my friends. This is Milurkus from Healing. Another day in paradise. Beautiful autumn morning, Sunday autumn. Starting with rubbing my hands. To start a healing session. Although the healing is great and there is a future in it, even Einstein used to say that the future of medicine is the sound and the energy. And today we continue to talk about the characterological structures, 5 characterological structures that shapes our reality, shapes our energy, shapes our lives. And the past 2 sessions we were speaking about the schizoid and oral characterological structures. Today we're gonna be talking about displaced or psychopath characterological structures. As I'm always stretching is that when we're saying this is mine, this is who we are, matter of fact, in its own essence, we are not. This is what we think we are, but we are not. And the books, last time I showed you Fear No Evil. This time I'm gonna show you another book that made a big influence on my life, and books like that, Undefended Self, written by Susan Sanger, based on pathwork material. Pathwork Center was created in 70s in the United States. It's a great work. And when I spoke with my friend about the reality, about who we are and how life's supposed to look like, he once said that what I'm saying is not true, it's not real, and it's never gonna happen like that. It's like a mysticism. And what I was sharing is the way we can live just like a healthy cells. What I'm always saying, healthy cells. So, and we cannot comprehend it, we cannot understand it because we haven't looked in this concept. And there is a forward saying in this book: every human being sensing an inner longing that goes deeper than the longing for emotional and creative fulfillment. This longing comes from sensing that that another more fulfilling state of consciousness and a larger capacity to experience life must exist. So when I was talking to my clients, I'm saying books like that shapes and shows us a new image of ourselves, new way of life for ourselves. That's what we have to be introduced first. First we get introduced to idea, new, better idea, broader idea. Then we can move it towards it. Otherwise it's a vicious cycle in the lower 3 chakras. We cannot escape. But once we get idea how life can be with the higher self, with our core essence, through reading of those kind of books, then we can grasp mentally that reality, and then we can move forward to it. Otherwise, if there is no image, we cannot move anywhere. So, continuing talking about the psychopathic displaced characterology. It's like the previous 2. This one happens in the childhood. This one happens in early childhood, when a child cannot get what he wants from his parents of the same sex. So he aligns with the parent of opposite sex, but still cannot get his needs met, or he is seduced in some way or manipulated. So in that case, the child's reaction is to manipulate, himself, begins manipulating through the lies or deceit, or other ways, generally putting the mask. And later on, he has this kind of wounding, and he forgets where it came from, and he carries that through his adulthood and entire life if it's not healed. People like that, they have tendency lifting their energy up, consciousness up, to the head and the will centers. They have a cold pelvis area and underdeveloped legs, and there is no grounding because of they feel unsafe in this world. They feel manipulated. They feel that the only way to get ahead is to manipulate others, or in the positive way, seduce something, something to show. By the way, lie is another form of seduction. So this kind of person heavily relies on support and encouragement. They usually dictate through direct manipulation, saying that the other party something should do, or have to, or must do, and showing them way into the submission. For them to give in or let go, it means to lose. And the only way to exist for them, to feel, is to be strong, to be manipulative, and to be in control rather than on an even level. Of course, this kind of things doesn't lead to support and friendship. For this kind of wounding, the feelings are secondary, because of the feelings, because of their wounding, are not evolved. They are suppressed. Okay, they are secondary. Okay, for them, main thing is the will. Main is the will centers and also intellect. So therefore, they're going through the life only using the will and suppressing the emotions. In the negative aspect, person has a strong drive for power and need to dominate others. They're doing it through bullying or seducing others. Their sexuality is hostile. In many cases, hostile sexuality, because of their all emotional front centers, chakras, are suppressed, closed up. So they can have a second chakra in the back open, slightly more, which gives a quantity instead of quality. These kind of people invest a lot in the good picture for themselves, being superior toward compared to others. But that superiority, under the superiority, there lies a fear of being inferior, or being discovered that they are inferior, because of they have constantly that opposition opposition or conflict between being in control and having others to connect and support him. So it's either or. And for them, conflict, when they get into their conflict, psychologically, verbally, emotionally, they burst their energy halfway up from the waist up into hysteria and control. For them to lose their argument or lose their control of situation is equal to death. So when I'm saying to die, it doesn't mean that literally dying. It means that a person feels as it is end of the world for him. Okay, it's like a schizoid, and he has a wanting to go back to escape this reality into the intellect or spirituality. So the psychopath, he goes into the attack, and then for him his main goal is to win that argument, whatever it is. The body of the psychopath and displaced, and by the way, why is it displaced? It's always displaced upwards. The energy and the physical build-up. So the body is always gonna be heavier on the top, okay, from the waist up. The shoulders are gonna be broader, okay, and it's because of the person is carrying the energy, the consciousness lifted up, just like himself. He holds himself up, okay. He doesn't allow himself to be in the balance, to stand on 2 feet and be like. In his terms, would be like everyone else. He sees himself superior or privileged in some way. So there is going to be definitely tension in the back, in the upper back and neck and lower skull area because of the energy that he's using over there, and accumulation of that energy and the way he pushes through the life with the strong willpower. Of course, pelvis area and the front is gonna be tight, held in and cold because of he holds the emotions, or he is not in contact with them at all. And the legs and the grounding is gonna be gone. And when I'm talking about those things, it always comes back into the therapy when we're sharing with the clients and saying, look, this is what happens, and what the energy that you're carrying, it's really based on what you believe about yourself. It's really how you think of yourself, who you are. And in most of cases, people would say, yeah, this is who I am, this is what I think how I am, and there is nothing else that I know of, And I'm saying, well, if we could switch it somehow, the energy would change. Energy would change, and what it means, the chakras would change, energy would shift, and the energy will start going to the areas where right now it's depleted. Okay, speaking about psychopath, if the person is holding on its own emotions and chakras are tight, small or closed in front, so what's going to happen with those front organs? Okay, they're going to be depleted in energy. Okay, if the heart is closed, so what's going to happen with the heart? Definitely is going to be heart problems, malfunctions, malnourishment of the energy. If there is lack energy, we cannot drink enough and take more vitamins or drink enough of good water or food. if we're lacking most necessary energy, life supporting energy. Okay, and that's what I'm saying. Those kind of books opens up eyes to new reality, to new better way of being. And once we grasp the idea, then we can move towards it. Okay, the eyes can also be tense in those things, in those people. In therapy, while talking to those people, always comes up as a subject that he has to win, and he is afraid to lose. Always. And there is no chance of the defeat. We cannot talk about defeat. For them to give in is to lose. So negative intent for this kind of people is my will be done. Always. Double bind, as I mentioned, they being torn between being right or being or die. They cannot allow others to be right and them to be wrong. You know, they rather cause a huge hysteria, huge argument, and torn relationships rather than they're gonna lose the argument. These people need to learn to trust others. The mask self says, "I'm right, you're wrong," and they always project that. Yeah, and for them, the mask is for them to be right, and they always want others to see them as the right ones. Lower self always gonna want to stay in control and say, "I will control you no matter what." Either way, the good way, which is aggressive way, or the passive way. Aggressive through bullying or manipulation. Passive, as I mentioned, through the lies, deceit, which is also means of control. The higher self, once we get through to the higher self, little deeper, they say, "Okay, I will give in." It means there is the healing that begin. The person leaving his own defense system. Remember, in previous sessions, I already mentioned that our auric field energy structure is called also energy defense system. What we defending against. We're defending against that pain that we have deep inside. And when we're adults, we even already forgot what happened, okay? Or we even didn't know what happened, okay? In many cases we hear, "Oh, that's the life," okay, deal with it, you know, it's always like that, okay? But I'm saying, reading those kind of books, you get like a map, you realize, well, the certain things, events, they have own names, and like a map, you can navigate it in your own consciousness and pick and choose where you want to go and where you want to reside. You want to reside in your higher self, or you want to in lower self, and that's the energy is going to happen. And I already mentioned, you know, there is some kind of people that they really feel good living in their lower self, in their negativity, to the point that personally to me, you know, I'm approaching certain places and I really don't want to be there. The energy is so low over there, you don't want to be there. And I hear that from other people too. So wounding for them is accepting relationship being an even plain. Dependency on people is scary for them. They have to control them. Definitely the last thing they want to lose is control about for others. Yeah, and definitely they afraid of becoming dependent on others or being victimized. Okay, and healing for them. Once they go through the healing and they open up, they connect with their core essence. Well, I remember there was a video I spoke about our core essence, which is our true self. Okay, when they connect with that, they have they find true strength. Okay, they no more see the reason to manipulate others or to draw their attention to ourselves. They find the true sense, and they allow the energy to fall down into their legs, which is mean becoming grounded, becoming real, standing in the reality with the two legs on equal plane. Okay, so the upper body gets deflated and the grounding becomes firmer. Those kind of people have good morals, a good truth, and they are very good with managing complex tasks or projects, and they able to attract then people through their own truth. Okay, and being through the truth, it's just like people see what's happening around us, and if we see someone is right, someone is true, yeah, then that's where we have tendency going to. They have a tendency of giving in to his bigger being, core essence, and sexual feelings. Then they become in contact with sexuality. For instance, schizoid in his own sexuality, they're looking for the ways to connect and exist. The oral characterological structure once uses sexuality to connect. If there is no sexuality, they don't connect. If there is, they feel like they're connecting, they're filling up. So for the psychopath, as a sexuality in positive way, it's only after the healing. Otherwise, it could be manipulative or in negative colors. Okay. So yeah, these people are full of fantasy, adventure, honor. Once they heal, they're full of honor and truth, and they're longing to bring noble qualities to the world. Yeah, these people are big warriors for the peace, for the equality, and the only thing happens is because of they fall into the deeper self, the higher self. So as I mentioned, they usually afterwards very honest and has integrity. So that's the main things that we have to cover today about the psychopath. Yeah, and definitely if you have questions, please do ask. So again and again, that's why I was always saying that meditation, for instance, is something that breaks those patterns. Okay, when we sit and meditate, then we calm ourselves and get off the treadmill, because of other than that we're constantly running on the treadmill, running into in our mind patterns. Okay, and mind patterns always comes from the childhood wounding. Okay, and the reaction to them. So when we sit and meditate, whether it's silent meditation, whether it's vipassana, then we get off the pattern and our brain is being rewired. Okay, we get into the new way of being, in the being of defenseless, without the undefended self, in the beingness being undefended, and we connecting first on unconscious level that we can do in life without being dependent. We can do and live from our core. Okay, and once we come out, then we are in more balance than before. So therefore, some I heard even saying that you cannot progress if you don't meditate. Yeah. Once I was in one event, and there we had a dinner over there, and our teacher, I cannot say guru, but teacher leader, we had a shortage of the high chairs by the table, so he took a low chair, and he was sitting lowest compared to others. And I said, it doesn't seem good, that you're sitting that low, you being you a leader of and a teacher. And he says, not a problem. He says, I'm okay. No, I'm okay. And he mentioned something about the Eastern traditions that leaders do sit lower, okay, not to exaggerate themselves, not to put themselves up high, but instead of being where they are, or maybe even lower, for other people to be able to connect to you and to come with the questions. And another thing I noticed, in this situation, he portrayed lack of his pride, okay, lack of pride and superiority. The second of it, although he had the abundance of knowledge and experience, he would never approach anyone and start pointing fingers and saying what someone has to do or must to do and should to do. He wouldn't say and he wouldn't talk anything until he's asked. So that's the thing, and it's like encyclopedia. Whatever you ask, it's like, and I'm always about questions and asking and learning more things. I was asking and talking to him over those few days, so I learned a lot. So that's what happens when the person heals, and then he uses his knowledge, his superiority, serving others. That's all. That's it for today, my friends. That was Emil Urkus from Healing. We've done 3 characterological structures. We have 2 more to go next 2 weekends. Yeah, and definitely those topics are complex. If you have more questions, ask me. If you want to learn more about it, just Google it. Stay well, my friend. Till next weekend.